So you should have your calculator up on this screen by just hitting the menu. Now we're pretty used to using the main screen just so we can type our functions out. But let's say we wanted to graph a function. What we're going to do is we're going to go to menu and we're going to select the graph and table screen. Right? And apologies, I can't make this any bigger. That's the size it's going to be. So the graph and table screen, what you do from there, right now, when you type a function, let's do a linear equation. Let's say 3x plus 2. If I type the function, you see automatically it's become y1 equals 3x plus 2. Yeah, you guys can see that? Awesome. So you can change that if you want to by clicking that. It'll give you the option to do that, but let's just keep it as equals for now. So once you've done that, you can either hit the EXE button at the bottom or just tick this thing. Same idea. It'll tick that line for you so that you're telling the calculator, this is what I want to graph this. To graph it, there's a button on the top left. That's this one right here, underneath the cog button at the top left. If you click that, it'll start graphing the line on the bottom. So, to be clear, you must tick the line that you want. You can tick multiple if you want, there's no issue with that. But if you don't tick a line, it's going to get very confused. So you tick it and then you click the button there. You'll notice that if I click this screen, the buttons on the top change. If I click the bottom one, the buttons over here change as well. So depending on which window you're focusing on, can you guys see how that's changing? Yeah? Depending on what window you guys are on, it'll change those buttons there. So this top left one, that means the graph, and it'll graph those lines for you. Pretty straightforward? Yeah? Awesome. Now what happens, let's say I'm trying to graph y equals to 2x squared. Same idea, I tick that. I can draw multiple lines. But here's the benefit of graphing the line itself. So we know what it looks like now. And can anyone tell me off the bat, how many intercepts do we reckon we have? 2. We should have 2 intercepts. So we're saying intersections. Sorry, my apologies, I meant intersections. So we should have one intersection here at the bottom left, about, what is that, negative 0.51. And then over here, we should have one about 2.7 as well. Okay? So what we can do, and this is equivalent to us using simultaneous equations, we can go click this, this graphing window. So not the actual equation window, but clicking the graphing window. You see in the top there's an analysis button. That is not what I meant to click. Analysis button. You can go to gsolve, so graph solve. And you can see there's one that says intersection. So if you click intersection, it'll tell you what is the coordinate of the intersection between those 2 points. However, there are actually 2 intersections. So if you click left and right on your touchpad, it'll switch between the coordinates of there. Now, I feel like I've lost someone. Yes?
What if your intersection is coming up like all grayed out?
Can I take a look?
Yeah.
You've only got to tick one line. So it only sees one line. So you need to select both lines, both equations, so that it graphs both of them, and then you hit intersection. Any questions about what I've done so far? Alright, I'm going to continue. If you do the same thing, you go analysis, gsolve, there's a whole bunch of functions that you can look at. So another one that's very important is you might look for, and I'm just going to go ahead and graph, let's get rid of that. Let's say I'm graphing 2x squared minus 3. I'm going to get something like, looks like that. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, analysis gsolve, and I can go, let's say, y-intercept, and it'll tell me what is the coordinates of the y-intercept. So I've got x equals 0, y equals to negative 3. That is my y-intercept. Same thing, I can go analysis gsolve and look for, now we don't call them x-intercepts, and we'll talk a little bit about that later on in the semester. We call them roots. So if you go gsolve roots, it'll tell you what are your x-intercepts. So that's all I'm introducing. So make sure you know how to graph, you know how to find the intersections, and you also know how to find your y and x-intercepts. That's it. Any questions? No?